And so when I say Chinese, I want you to scream out the nation that's associated with this. For example, if I say Chinese, you're going to say what?
China.
All right, let's say it with authority. When I say Chinese, you say what?
China.
All right, that's just a test right there. So here we go. Chinese.
China.
Russian.
Russia.
Italian.
Italy.
German.
Germany.
Swedish.
Sweden.
Korean.
Korea.
Egyptian.
Egypt.
Nigerian.
Nigeria.
Black.
Exactly. Nothing. Tell him, Pastor. Tell him, Pastor. Black, nothing. Yes.
I hope you were able to successfully identify the issue.
The lion won't sleep tonight, 'cause we woke now, and we woke now. I said the lion won't sleep tonight, 'cause we woke now, and we woke now. They want us to sell our souls to barter profit, like God's property. It's hard to market, so we steady to aim, keep your eyes on target. 'Cause when you got to drive, yeah, they'd rather you park it. But I don't valet, you ain't getting these keys. I'm keeping closed hands, I'm on bended knee. I'm just a reflection, dealing with 8 sections. Art mixed with life, you can feel the convection. Your lion won't sleep tonight, 'cause we woke now, and we woke now. I said the lion won't sleep tonight, 'cause we woke now, and we woke now. I said
The entire Bible is about black people. Not only was Jesus black, but every character in the Bible seems to be black too. Yeah, Zephaniah and Jeremiah and Jebediah, those all aren't white people names, okay? And Jesus wasn't some tan, partially melanated Middle Eastern person either. I'm talking straight up black dude, okay? Even in the book of Revelation, when you get the vision of Daniel, he's describing someone with feet like burnt brass and white woolly hair, and we've got the deep running water voice with the red eyes, and you guys, he's black. The Jewish people are black people, like Kanye was right.
Black people can't be anti-Semitic. We are Jew. You understand what I'm saying? We are Jew. So cool out. Until you do your facts, until you really do the facts with the fake indoctrination that y'all put into the schools and all that, you know what I'm saying? We're not following y'all rules.
So we're supposed to we're just being told that anti-Semitism is now criticizing Israel. Anti-Semitism is anything they want it to be. They can't even define it. They admit in this bill that they've passed through the House that there's really truly no actual protection for Jews, but they're just making it up as they go because they want to say, well, but Semites, which we shouldn't even be using that word anymore, because most Jews who practice the religion of Judaism or who are culturally Jewish, even if they don't practice the Jewish religion, but they're culturally Jewish, like many are culturally Christian. Many of us celebrate Christmas, but we're not Christian. That's cultural Christianity. It is what it is, right? They can't define it. They're putting all these rules on us. We shouldn't even allow them to use the term anti-Semitism. It's not real. Most of these Jews are not Semites.
You can convert to Judaism. You can't convert to a blood family. You cannot convert to a race. Judaism is a religion. That's all it is. Judaism is a religion. That's all it is.
Judaism is a religion. That's all it is.
They're not Semites at all. They're not Semites at all.
They're not Semites at all.
In fact, most of them are communists from Russia.
You know, the DNA tests that they've done on the Israelis that are living over there, they're Eastern European Ashkenazi Jews.
Today, it is prohibited, and you can Google this, to do a DNA test in Israel. Totally forbidden. Wrong. It's illegal. It's a crime. You'll be jailed. if you do a DNA test in Israel. Why? Because they know the truth will come out. You come from Poland, you come from Ukraine, you came from Europe, you came from everywhere else. And they were the original Middle Eastern Jews who lived together with the Muslims and the Christians for centuries. For centuries. So what happened to a lot of the Jews?
DNA testing to prove Jewish ancestry is a hot-button political issue in Israel. For example, Israel's chief rabbinate has pushed for the ancestry DNA tests to be allowed to prove Jewishness in certain cases. In particular, many Jews who have emigrated to Israel from the Soviet Union, who may not have had the necessary paperwork that shows they are Jewish, have sought to get genetic tests done to show they are Jews. In 2019, a political scandal erupted when it appeared Russian Jews were secretly submitting DNA tests to the rabbinate in order to obtain the right to move to Israel.
You say, where the name Ashkenazi came from? So, a little over 1,000 years ago, as Jewish people scattered around the world had now emigrated in Europe and now were living in the Rhineland in Germany, they looked at the name Gomer in Genesis 10, and they connected Gomer with Germany, so they took on the identity of the name Ashkenaz. It has nothing to do with Ashkenaz in the Bible, which is a descendant of Japhet. It's just a name that was taken, okay? It's that simple. Just like my last name Brown doesn't refer to the color of my skin, just like my last name Brown doesn't refer to the color of my skin,
just like my last name Brown doesn't refer to the color of my skin.
Michael Brown, I am Caucasian. Just like my last name Brown doesn't refer to the color of my skin or anything else. It was shortened from a Russian name when my grandfather came over at Ellis Island. The name got shortened to Brown. It's just a name. That's all it is. So the idea that Ashkenazi Jews are descended from Japhet is a myth, 100% false, zero truth to it. Just study the history.
Anyone ever heard of the word anti-Semitic? What's that mean? What does that mean? Against who? Against the who? Say it one more time. Against the who? If you're anti-Semitic, you're against Jews. Where'd that come from? You know, anti-Semitic, the word only goes back to the late 1800s. As it relates to being anti-Jewish. Now, okay, now, don't throw your rocks at me. But how is it that only white Jews get to be referred to as Semitic? But how is it that only white Jews get to be referred to as Semitic?
But how is it that only white Jews get to be referred to as Semitic?
And Michael Brown, I am Caucasian, even though my last name is Brown. Michael Brown, I am Caucasian, even though my last name is Brown. Michael Brown, I am Caucasian.
Michael Brown, I am Caucasian.
This story begins in October 1949, 1 year after Israel's formation. This is when Netanyahu was born, the second child of a historian. His paternal grandfather was a rabbi and a Zionist writer. His name was Nathan Milikowski. Later in life, he Hebraized his surname from Milikowski to Netanyahu, a name which means God has given.
This is Yair Netanyahu's DNA test that has been leaked. You can see right there his Y DNA is RM198. Descendants of RM198 come from Poland, Russia, Germany, and other European countries. Does this look Semitic to you? Does this look Middle Eastern?
That's what the Zionists did, except instead of a baseball team, they went to try to convince the Jews that the Jewish people are a nation, like France and like Spain. We'll get a land, that's Israel, that's our stadium. will get baseball bats and balls, will create a language. They sat down to create a language because nations need languages. They sat down to create a language because nations need languages. They sat down to create a language. They sat down to create a language.
They sat down to create a language.
Hitler was, and the Nazis, of course, expanded on Margaret Sanger's approach to eugenics, right? Eugenics was a movement that was born in the United States under hard doctrines of racism with the intent of eliminating the tribe of Judah in the African-American community in this country, right? To eliminate them. With the intent of eliminating the tribe of Judah, with
the intent of eliminating the tribe of Judah in the African American community in this country, right? To eliminate them.
You know what you are? You're an ancient Israelite.
Ancient Israel, that's who we are. That's who we are. So if you give me time,
But
all that he said,
no, we don't have.
There are so many years.
I know. Look at this. This is pages and pages of notes, and I promise we'll give more teaching. But here is my challenge to you.
All right.
I'm hearing some of your traditions. It's like the days of the Bible.
Yes.
Do you want to remain ancient Israelites, or you want to be Jews? Do you want to remain ancient Israelites, or you want to be Jews?
Their bones were discovered in Kafse caves near Nazareth in Galilee in 1933. 13 fragile skeletons, one a woman, a tiny baby at her feet. When these bones were first uncovered, they were the oldest complete modern human skeletons ever found.
The numerous skeletons that have been found in caves in Israel at the sites of Kafse and Shkul show us that there were modern humans outside of Africa over 100,000 years ago. Those modern humans may well have gone up the Nile corridor through Sinai and into the Middle East.
Genesis chapter 11 verse 10 explains the genealogy of Shem. Shem was a black man in Africa. If you repeat this fact, they can't laugh at you. If you repeat this fact, they can't laugh at you. If you repeat this fact, they can't laugh at you.
Want to say peace and blessings to everyone. Hope and pray that all is well with you guys. I pray that you guys had a blessed Shabbat. I know I'm running a little behind. Let me just do a couple of things before we get started. We have a lot to cover, and I'm going to break this up into multiple parts. Let me say that again. I'm going to break this up to multiple parts because there's so much to cover, especially when you're dealing with prophecies. And so my goal here is to give you proper clarity, of, how to approach prophecies, how to approach the prophecies, how to approach the scriptures, because I can tell you that there's a lot of errors, and a lot of it stems from many of those that are teaching prophecies are still holding on to the Catholic Christian approach of the text. So we're going to further undress that delusion, and hopefully this encourages you guys to start holding people, and starting within our community, as hold them accountable, because we have too much of this going on in our community. But let me just go ahead and do a couple of things real quick. Let me just post my Cash App here. Let me bear with me 1 second. Just pinning this up in the comment section. All right. Just wanted to make sure I got everything set. And let me change my banner. All right, let me change my banner. I think my banner is still showing last week's lesson. All right, let's see here. Well, weeks, the last live I did, I can't remember if it was this. All right. All right. So we got a lot to cover tonight. Let me put the banner at the bottom. And I'm going to start posting information on the upcoming Passover that we're doing. I'm going to start posting that here in a little bit, just so that way you guys can get a jump on it. Those that would like to bring in the Passover with us, feel free to let me know. And have some other things that I am working on as well. Prayerfully, I get confirmation, working on something special over the first quarter of next year. Really working on something special. And I think you guys really, once I announce it, once I get confirmation, it's going to be powerful. It's going to be big, and I'll make sure you guys have opportunity to get ahead of it. All right. But nevertheless, let's go ahead and get into the lesson tonight. Don't want to prolong getting into this lesson. Again, the goal is to give you a proper approach when you're dealing with the ancient text, especially with the prophecies. And if you want to type one in the comment section, feel free to type one. If you agree, type two if you disagree. But I'm here to tell you, family, I am really tired of the recycled doom and gloom prophecies, right? I'm tired of it. I'm sure you guys are probably tired of it as well. What I mean by that, you have every cycle, whether every election cycle or everything that happens over in Russia or Israel or anywhere around the world, especially if it's dealing with what is supposedly superpowers, right? All of a sudden, World War III. World War III. Are you guys tired of hearing about World War III? I am so tired about hearing about World War III. Every time you turn around, World War III. And I know some people are jumping on here because they see it in the title. World War III coming, Great Tribulation. And I'm here to tell you, I'm not teaching World War III, especially if you understand our history, the Negro. World War III has come and gone. It's been gone. When you define what a world war is, and you really start understanding the proper context of a world war, and not just look at it from a Eurocentric perspective, because that's how many interpret the scriptures. I am just exhausted with World War III. I really am. I mean, every time I see something pop up in my timeline, or if I go to the, even if you go to the news, no matter where you go at, you're hearing things about World War. And like I said, every time I hear it, I want to give them this look. What about you guys? Are you guys in agreement that you are tired of hearing about World War III, which is confirming what Christ told us about? I mean, I am just really tired. I'm literally. I know that's my little clip that I got from Keen and Peele, the comedy group, or Brothers, the duo rather. That's one of my favorite episodes. The airplane, with the possessed airline stewardess or steward. But I'm just tired of it. I'm so tired of it, to the point that you hear people that's supposed to be on top of prophecy, like they on top of prophecy, go from believing that 2019 was the fulfillment of the 400-year prophecy, and that literally there was going to be a literal exodus over to Israel, over back to our promised land. But then when that didn't happen, then you see people changing prophecies. Well, that's not the actual place. That's not the actual time. Well, it's going to be 2028, 2030. Even though the scriptures make it clear that no one, not a single person, including Christ, knows the day. That's why he used the reference of thief in the night. I'm just so tired of it. So tired of it. And this is why I want to kind of segue into some passages I'm going to highlight, because family, I want to take you to a couple of passages to let you know that we are accountable for it. I am a leader. Even if you're not a leader per se over an assembly, you still have a responsibility. You have a responsibility. Like I said, you have so many so-called prophets who call themselves saying that they putting their life on the line for you, but they don't put their names to anything. They don't put their faces to anything. They don't put anything to it. The same ones that will point fingers. I'm still kind of rubbed a certain way when a particular group or a particular platform call themselves trying to suggest that, or asking questions of why I drive a nice car. I'm not ashamed of driving nice cars. I worked hard. I'm going to purchase it, or live in a nice home, when they themselves drive Mercedes, living in nice homes, working in upper management in the IT field. I'm serious, family. But yet want to point fingers at other people. I had enough of it. Enough of it. You got brothers and sisters that's truly putting their reputation on the line, like myself, my cousin from Boom, Benaiah Israel. You can see him. You can put your face to him. Dante. It's a lot of us out here that are literally putting our reputations on the line. You know why? Because the scripture says, know those that labor among you. But we have let the standards down. In order for you to know me, you have to know my name. You have to know my face. You have to know that I do earn an honest living. You have to you have to know that I'm not a plant. You have to know that I am not scared, because Christ made it clear to us that if he had to go through it, no servant is greater than his leader. I don't like to use the word master because just the connotation to that, but no servant is greater than our Adonai. In other words, the superintendent of the house. So if Christ went through it, then we have to go through it. If you so afraid to put your, any leader, I'll put it that way, so afraid to let you know who they are. If any leader is so afraid of showing their face, if any so-called leader, I'll say so-called leader, are afraid to put their reputation on the line, remember the scripture says those who lay down their life, guess what they'll gain? That's the scriptures. Those who lay down their life will gain. But you have people bending and twisting the scriptures of holding on and hoarding who they are. So therefore, they can be reckless with what they teach. They can constantly move the goalposts on things that they're putting out there. Anyway, family, I just want to get a little something off my chest, because like I said, I've been holding back, but really going through the scriptures here, I'm not holding back. So again, like I said, almost a year ago, a platform decided that they wanted to talk about what I drive, talk about what I live in, talk about where I work, when they are driving the same thing, living in nice homes, living in working in upper management in the IT field. And guess what? No, I'm not even going to go to that portion of it. But they're doing very well. But again, I'm from North New Jersey. I'm from Brick City, and the way we came up is like, hey, the one that's so busy trying to point the fingers, those are the ones that are the problem. That's the source of the issue. So I'm going to use what I just said to segue into another portion of this lesson as we build up for this series for the Great Tribulations. All right. So again, this is going to be a multi series as far as teaching. I'm going to use. I'm going to take probably about 3 lessons. This is going to be like 3 parts in order to really put this lesson in its proper perspective. And I'm going to hopefully this empowers you to be able to start calling it out. Empower you to start discerning when you have people that are out here binging on the news and trying to take like what I would deem conspiratorial assumptions or predictions and try to make it into the prophecies, which is throwing like dice at the wind. Anyway, let's get into it, family. That's enough of me. Let's go and get into it. All right. I want to start off with this thought. Can't sleep like everyone a watchman. Let me say that again. Family, we as the true people of the book, we cannot sleep like everyone because we're wired differently. We have a bigger responsibility when it comes to being Yah's chosen people. And I'm going to break this down here. Let's get into it. Let's start with Joshua chapter 1, verse 6. And I'm going to start this off to give all of you guys a word of encouragement. Let me say that again. I want to start this off by giving all of you guys a word of encouragement. A word of encouragement. This is coming from, again, Joshua chapter 1, verse 6. Be strong and of good courage, for unto this people shalt thou divide for an inheritance the land which I swear unto their fathers to give them. Let me say that again. Be strong, chazak, and be of good courage, amatz, for unto this people shalt thou divide for an inheritance the land which I swear unto their fathers to give them. So what does this mean? And I'm going to break it down here in a second. Let's look at the word strong. I'm just touching on this. I touched on this earlier today at our Shabbat service, and I'm going to re-upload the full video. We experienced some issues with YouTube. YouTube cut the lesson off, so good thing we actually record all the sessions. So we're going to upload that again, and the full session will be up online. We woke now extended. But anyway, Kazak, it means to fasten up, fasten upon, to siege, to be strong. In other words, courageous, causatively, strengthen, cure, help. And then we see here astinate, to bind, restrain, cleave, confirm, be constant. All right, we see constrain here. Also continue, be of good. In other words, courage, take courage, be of good courage. Again, courageous, right? Courageously. Encourage self. And that's one of the things we have to learn, how to encourage ourselves, right? Because there's a lot that the Most High is really encouraging Joshua with. And I'll highlight that in a second. I'll touch on that a little bit in a second. We see be recovered. Family, a true leader is not someone that is constantly having to be recovered, right? Repaired, retained, restored, right? That's not a true leader. Be recovered, be repaired, retain. I'm going to break this down here in a second, right? You can't keep being recovered like a what's his name, Jamal Bryant. Every time you turn around, he's being recovered, he's being restored, he's being repaired. His entire pretty much his entire career, I won't say career, his entire walk as a pastor has been constantly being recovered, repaired, restored, retained because of the things that he indulged in. When you know him, know the things that he was indulging in up in Baltimore. Babies while he was married, within his ministry, from underage girls rather, not women. Can't be a woman and you're underage. All right. But anyway, strengthen self. But let's go and bring this all together here. Just starting with being strong, right? So what the Most High is telling Joshua, be constant, in other words, consistent in resisting from certain actions and urges. See, as a leader, when you're dealing with people, because that's what this is dealing with. Joshua was told to be strong and encouraged, right? 3 times. The first time dealing with people, dividing up the inheritance, because dealing with people can be very challenging. And when you're dealing with attitudes and personalities and the naysayers, guess what? It can put you in a position that you want to what? Respond. It can provoke certain actions and urges. So the Most High is telling Joshua that, hey, be strong. In other words, restrained from certain actions and urges. Because now you see Joshua is now really officially taking the helm of leading Israel. Moses had died, and now is Joshua who's leading the people. And the Most High had to reassure him. So one of the things he told him, be constant, in other words, consistent in restraining from certain actions and urges. And then when we look at the word courageous, real quick, amatz, it says to be alert, right? To be alert, family. So he's telling him to be strong. In other words, resist certain urges and actions based upon being provoked by the people, like Moses was provoked when he spoke against the people, when he cursed the people. So he says to be alert, it says steadfastly minded, stronger, right? When we see be courageous, it says be of good courage, tawab, right? Good courage, tawab, amatz, steadfastly minded, stronger. Then we see increase. And when we see established, that means stable. Okay, so what the Most High is telling Joshua, be constant, in other words, consistent and restraining from certain actions and urges. Be steadfast, alert when facing unexpected challenges. And that's what I want to encourage you all, because we're constantly dealing with challenges. I mean, the landscape is ugly no matter how you look at it. Whether you dealing, when you look at the politics, the Democrats, the Republicans, the Independents, it's a big mess, no matter how you look at it. But the key is we have to be reassured, which the Most High is reassuring us, to be strong. Let me take this out of the way. Be strong. In other words, be constant, be consistent in restraining from certain actions and urges. Be steadfast, alert when facing unexpected challenges. All right. So let me connect this with 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. Right? Let's go to 1 Thessalonians real quick. This is all coming together here. It says, but the times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you, for yourselves know perfectly that the day of Adonai so cometh as a thief in the night. Let me say that again. So look at what this says here. So Paul is making it clear that we don't know when the Messiah is coming back. He says, like a thief in the night. Christ referred to this, I believe, in John chapter 8, verse 17, made it clear he's coming back like a thief in the night. And also in Matthew chapter 24, I believe when you get down to around verse 37, verse 38, he made it clear that he don't know the time. No one knows the time but the Father. So anyone who's giving you times, giving you dates, they are false, they are fake, they are phony. Let me say that again. Anyone that's giving you times and dates, they are false, they are fake, they are phonies. And Christ said clearly, flee from them. So again, but other times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you, for yourselves know perfectly that the day of Adonai so cometh as a thief in the night. So Paul is bearing witness that no one knows. But look at verse 3. For when they shall say peace and safety, the sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. But ye, brethren, let me say that, but you, Israel, which is something special about you, Israel, something special about you, Judah, as Paul says here, but ye, brethren, are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief. See, family, it doesn't matter if we hit in World War III. I mean, not World War III, World War whatever it is. It doesn't matter about what's happening with this country, whether it's the Democrats, the Republicans, the independents. It doesn't matter what's happening with Putin. It doesn't matter what's happening with North Korea. It doesn't matter. All that stuff doesn't matter, because no matter what, the Most High has a plan for his people. Just like the pandemic, right? We kept our ministry open. So many ministries shut down during that pandemic. We had people that had transitioned from our ministry because of us transitioning over to Shabbat, right? And honoring the feast days. They left. Some people left. But during that pandemic, they came back, because one thing they knew about our ministry, we are going to make it a point to always be open, even if I have to be there by myself. So again, it says here, but ye, brethren, are not in darkness. Family, you're not in darkness. You're not in darkness. So don't listen to these doom and gloom people talking about where you need to go and trying to make you feel bad if you don't go where they think you should go. Don't allow anyone to put pressure on you to do what? As we just pointed out, to make decisions based upon urges, right? Pressure from people. But ye, brethren, are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief. Ye are all the children of light and the children of the day. We are not of the night, nor of darkness. Therefore, let us not sleep as others do. Let me say that again. Let us not sleep as others do. Come on, family. If you are an Israelite, guess what? And I'm going to break down this in two folds, because Paul is saying two things here, addressing two key points here in two groups of people here, the leaders and the people that are being led. He's really dealing with a shared responsibility here. It says, therefore, let us not sleep as others do, but let us watch and be sober. For they shall sleep in the night, and they that be drunken are drunken in the night. Come on, there's a difference between, resting in the Father. Back at this time, it was people that were doing a lot of drinking out of fear, trying to drink their problems away. You see a lot of that happening right now. But it says here, and not just being drunk with alcohol and drugs and all that, but also, just drunk on stupid, drunk on pride, drunk on filled with themselves, drunk on deception, drunk on just killing promises. But guess what? Let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. Verse 7, for they that sleep in the night and they that be drunken are drunken in the night. But let us who are of the day be sober, putting on the breastplate of faith and love, for an helmet, the hope of salvation. For Yahweh hath not appointed us unto wrath, but to obtain salvation by our Adonai, Yahweh Shai, Hamashiach. In other words, the Lord Jesus Christ. That's what some would say. That's what it transliterates to. So Paul places the point of emphasis on shared responsibilities from the leadership and to the lay people. Let me prove this. Ezekiel, this is key, family. This is why I have to call stuff out. I can't sit here and just sit back and let certain things just roll. I can't. And you're not supposed to allow it either. We all have a shared responsibility to protect our community from the antichrist, plural, that are dwelling within, people that's supposed to be part of our community, all for us, Guess what? Walking away, straying away, undermining our community. That is the true Antichrist. They've been around. But anyway, let's go to Ezekiel chapter 3, verse 17. This passage is for the leaders. All right. It reads, Son of man, I have made thee a watchman, Sapah, unto the house of Israel. Therefore hear the word, Dabar. This is a charge. Hear, Shema, Shemai, right? Shemai or Shema, right? The word Dabar, right? When you see Shemai, remember, family, listen with intelligence, right? Just type that inside the chat. Listen with intelligence. If trolls start trolling or people getting distracted or becoming distractions, rather, type in listen with intelligence. That's our theme here. When people start doing all kinds of crazy stuff inside the chat, listen with intelligence. And family, the Most High is telling the prophet, he says here, in other words, listen with intelligence. The word dabar at my mouth, paya or pi, right? Really, it's paya, right, in ancient Hebrew, and give them warning, zahar, from me. When I say unto you the wicked. Now look at what the Most High is charging the prophet, right? Look at what the Most High is charging the prophet. When I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and thou givest him not warning, nor speakest to warn the wicked from his wicked way, to save his life, the same wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at thine hand. So what this is saying is, if you have a wicked person, and a wicked person here, when you see iniquity, it means to bend, twist the law. That's what it means, transgression of the law. So it's saying here, when you see this wicked man that you know is doing all kinds of crazy stuff, bending, twisting the scriptures, bending, twisting the words of Yah, and you don't say anything, guess what it says? To save his life, the same wicked man shall die in his iniquities. Like, if you don't say anything, if you don't bring warning, if you don't bring correction, right? That man die in his iniquity, bending, twisting the laws, bending, twisting the word of Yah. But his blood will I require at thine hand. So he's telling the prophet, if you see somebody that's wicked, if you see an Israelite acting all crazy, right, all over the place, it is your responsibility to say something to that individual or group. And if you don't, if you hold your tongue, if, like many within this awakening, can't we all get along? Why you have to say something? Just pray for them. No, that's not how it works, family. The scripture says open rebuke is better than secret love. But anyway, it says here, to save his life, the same wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at thine hand. Yet if thou warn the wicked, and he turn not from his wicked ways, nor from his wicked way, and he turn not from his wickedness, nor from his wicked way, he shall die in his iniquity, but thou hast delivered thy soul. In other words, if you warn them and they don't want to change, it's on them. But you're not going to be held accountable because what? You made an attempt to bring correction. All right. Verse 20, again, when a righteous man, now this is someone that is lawful, because that's what righteous mean. Someone who is lawful, honoring what? The law, statutes, and commandments. When a righteous man who doeth turn from his righteousness, in other words, from being lawful, commit iniquity. In other words, they go from being lawful to now they are bending, twisting the law, statutes, and commandments, and I lay a stumbling block before him. He shall die because thou hast not given him warning. He shall die in his sin, and his righteousness which he hath done shall not be remembered. But his blood will I require at thine hand. So this is someone who strayed away. This is someone who is lawful, but now they no longer lawful. They're bending and twisting the law. Now it's the responsibility, as the prophet is here, his responsibility, and not just his responsibility, the responsibility of a watchman to what? Bring forth correction. Verse 20, nevertheless, if thou warn the righteous man, right, that the righteous is sin not, and he doeth not sin, he shall surely live, because he is warned. In other words, if you warned him, and guess what? He corrected that situation. It says here, he shall surely live because he is warned. Also, thou hast delivered thy soul. All right. So, what is a watchman? Real quick, we defined it, but what is a watchman? It says here to lean forward and example, peer into the distance, to observe, wait, behold, espy or espy, look well. Look upon, look up. In other words, well, watch, right? Keep watch, keep the watch, watchmen. But the key here is keep the watch. In other words, not just keep the watch, but the key is execute. That's where you get the Hebrew word shamar. The very first watchman was Adam. That was his two responsibilities that he had. He was a cultivator, in other words, a tiller, which you'll see the word amah. And then also he was a keeper. In other words, he executed the things that the Most High charged him with doing. So that is shamar, right? So he was a someone who executed the things of the Most High. So family, that's the key to being a watchman, executing the word of Yah. So when you see keep inside your Bible, cross it out and put execute. That resonates more. And write the Hebrew word shamar. All right. So let's deal with this word warn real quick, and then we'll get into one more thing I'll point out, right? And then we'll get into some of the other things I want to just go over. Then we see zahar, right? It means to glean, this warning, to enlighten. But the key is admonish, shine, teach, warn, give warning, right? Give warning. So that's the key. When you are warning people, you're teaching. It's still a teachable moment, okay? So let's go to Numbers chapter 3, verse 15. So I gave you the responsibility of leaders that are truly watchmen. But now I'm going to put the responsibility, now deal with the other portion of Paul's words into the people in Thessalonica, right? Now we're going to see the shared responsibility. We dealt with the leader's responsibility as being watchmen. Now let's deal with the people, right? There's a term for each one of you guys, right? You guys are head of your house. Many of you guys that are watching right now, you are the head of your house. There's a term for that, right? You have a responsibility, just like leaders are the head of whatever assembly that the Most High has allowed them to be responsible for. So they're the head under who? Under Christ, under Hamashiach, through the Most High. But nevertheless, Numbers chapter 35, let me show this responsibility that all of us share, right? It starts off by saying these 6 cities shall be a refuge, in other words, sanctuary city, for both the children of Israel and for the stranger and for the sojourner among them, that everyone that killeth any person unawares, that he flee thither. Verse 16, and if he smite him with an instrument of iron so that he die, he is a murderer. The murderer shall surely be put to death. Verse 17, and if he smite him with throwing a stone, wherewith he may die, and he die, he is a murderer. The murderer shall be put to death. Verse 18, or if he smite him with an hand weapon of wood, wherewith he may die, and he die, he is a murderer. The murderer shall surely be put to death. Verse 19, the revenger. See, that's the key. That word right there, revenger. What is the revenger? We're going to break this down in a second. But the revenger, every last one of you guys are over your household. You are considered a revenger. The Hebrew word here, you see, Gaal, or someone pronounces Gala with the I at the end, and they'll trunk, the I in the middle, right? They'll just say Gala, or again, Ga'ala. You can say it that way as well. If you keep the I at the end, it'd be Ga'ala, right? But anyway, the revenger of blood himself shall slay the murderer, Ratzak. When he meeteth him, he shall slay him. But if he thrusts him of hatred, right, Shana, or hurl at him by laying of weight that he die, or in enmity, right? Now, this is someone that's trying to take the law in their own hands, right? This is saying, let me double back a little bit. The revenger, right? The revenger or redeemer, however you want to, these words are synonymous, redeemer of the house. Each one of you guys are, if you're the head of your household, you are the redeemer, you are the revenger of your house. That means that if something, anyone within your household, right, was harmed in any kind of way, you have the responsibility to bring to get justice for that loved one. You are responsible for taking action. That's what this is saying. So every last one of you, you are supposed to be a redeemer. You are supposed to be a revenger. You are supposed to be the head of your house, right? If you're the head of your house, these are the responsibilities that come with the territory. So this is saying if someone takes the life of a loved one innocently, like it was by accident, guess what? The revenger, you can't go out here trying to, take revenge. There's due process. That's what this is saying. They have sanctuary cities for situations like this. All right. So the revenger of blood himself shall slay the murderer when he meeteth him, he shall slay him. But if he thrust him of hatred or hurl at him by laying wait that he die, or in enmity smite him with his hand that he die, he that smote him shall surely be put to death. For he is a murderer. The revenger of blood shall slay the murderer when he meeteth him. So let me just wrap this portion up real quick. Let me summarize this. The basic purpose for the cities of refuge, in other words, the refugee cities, or sanctuary cities, the cities were to be a refuge and asylum for persons guilty of accidental murder, right? They were to provide a place for the murderer to flee from the avenger, a place of safety until a trial could be set by the community court, by the judges, right? In ancient days, it was the responsibility of the nearest relative to protect the family's rights of the victim. The nearest relative or kinsman was responsible by law to save his relative from any trouble he faced. If the relative had been killed, the kinsman shall be his avenger, or the avenger of the blood. So Yahweh, the Father, would be the revenger, right? The redeemer of his son, the Messiah. Why am I saying that? Right? This is why you heard the Messiah on the cross. When you read the scriptures, this is why the Messiah said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. He's not dealing with the Romans, because the Romans have no accountability in this. This is a trial that's taking place, right? Remember, read the scriptures. The Israelites, Judah said this to Pontiff Pilate. He was trying to let Christ go. They said, hey, look, the blood is on our hands, not just on their hands, said their children. It's on their children's hand as well. So when I say the Israelites took full accountability of what transpired. So when Christ said, Father, forgive them for they know not what they do, had nothing to do with the Romans, had nothing to do with the Greeks, had nothing to do with other nations. It had everything to do with the Israelites. Why? Because here it is, the Most High, that's his son, right? That's his son. So by law, the Father would be the what? Redeemer, the revenger. So he had every right to take the life, to just wipe out wipe out Israel, and just completely blot Israel out. So this is the reason why the Messiah interceded for his murderers, who was the Israelites. All right. So I just wanted to kind of lay the foundation here, family. I know I gave you a lot of information before we got into the main meat of the lesson, but I just want to lay the foundation, just to show you that each one of you have a shared responsibility. You cannot duck your head. You cannot duck your head. You cannot hide your head in the sand. All of us have a shared responsibility to making sure that, we protect our community. Just like with Nehemiah, the people had a mind to work, a mind to build. That's the model. That's what we're supposed to do. regardless of our differences, we should be able to put that aside and see that there's a greater issue. So the Great Tribulation, end time prophecy. All right. So now some of you guys probably remember this from the lesson that I did on the Great Tribulation. I'm not Great Tribulation, but the beginning of sorrows, when I broke down and kind of gave you clarity on what eschatology is. I'm not going to go too deep with it because this will take a lot of time, but I just want to make sure you guys understand here that when we start getting into eschatology, there's so many different eschatologies, right? Israel's theology was intensely grounded in in time and space, and especially in the events of Israel's own history. And this is a quote out of the Oxford Handbook of Eschatology. So what is eschatology? Real quick, let's go to page 24 of this book, right? The development of the concept in Israel. So the term eschatology itself is not easy to define, although its etymology is clear enough, derived from the Greek eschatos, right? Eschatos, excuse me. In other words, last. The term eschatology represents the branch of theology devoted to last or final things, such as death and judgment, heaven and hell, the end of the world. It is routinely assumed that the study of eschatology of necessity includes a clearly formulated concept of the end of the world or of time, with a pronounced doctrine of resurrection and individual judgment, initiating a radically new era of salvation, distinct and discontinuous with current reality. Such as conceptions are rare in the Old Testament. And if we limit eschatology to such a narrow definition, it basically in a nutshell is saying we're doing the study disservice. But the point that I want to make sure you understand that there is a number of different eschatology theologies that exist. Some of them are Jewish eschatologies, right? Eschatology theologies, Muslim, Buddhist, Hindu, right? So there's a number of variations of eschatology theology in the distinct Catholic Christian traditions, right? And theological movements. So there's so many within there. Now, here's the top ones, right? The top ones within Roman Catholicism, which that Christianity, the churches, right? The Christian church branched out from, right? But nevertheless, Roman Catholicism, Eastern Orthodox, Protestant fundamentalists, Pentecostal and charismatic theology, process, liberation, and eschatology in Christian feminist theology. All right. That's a duplicate slide. So despite the fact that in the doctrine of ta eschata, in other words, the last things, the whole Christian doctrine, creation, incarnation, redemption, deification, finds its fulfillment, there is little explicitity defined in the formularies of the Orthodox Church, hardly anything more than two phrases in the Nicene Creed, right? The Nicene Creed, that's the statement of faith that many churches and many of you guys grew up with quoting or reciting, right? That's the Nicene Creed. In the Baptist Church, for the most part, we did that once a month, and that was for communion. In Kojic, every service, you recite the statement of faith. We believe that the Bible is the only holy, inspired, written word of God. We believe that God exists in three persons. God, y'all know what I'm talking about. That's the Nicene Creed. So the two phases or phrases in the Nicene Creed are: He is coming in glory to judge the living and the dead, and His kingdom will have no end. And I await the resurrection of the dead and the life of the age to come. So you'll see some type of variation of this, right, of the Nicene Creed, but that's what it is. The statement of faith is the Nicene Creed. So let's transition, all right? I got all of that out the way. We laid out the foundation. Now let's get into the Great Tribulation, right? I know you guys probably trying to figure out, why am I using these imageries? Like you see the dragon in the backdrop here. You see this barbaric looking individual here. I'm going there for a reason, right? But let's start with the Great Tribulation, because there's a lot of things I have to really unpack here just to get all of us moving in the same direction, that we all are on the same page. But before I do that, let me just give a shout out here. I see a super chat here. I want to say shout outs to Eddie True Love. Thank you for the love and support. Let me pull him up here. Thank you, Eddie True Love, for the love and support. Yes, thank you. I really appreciate the love and support. And family, let's show some love for Eddie True Love for the love and support. Thank you for the super chat tonight. Really appreciate you. All right. So let's really knock down some stuff with the Great Tribulation. The family, this is where it's going to go. I'm going to go geek mode. Let me drink some of my water here. I am getting ready to go geek mode. All right. What is the Great Tribulation? And let me make this clear. I was an end time junkie, end time prophecy junkie. So like I did with the Great Tribulation, I gave you a little insight on how an end time prophecy junkie like myself and others, how we would at that time process prophecies, and some of the buzzword and some of the key tenets that would, the key I would say approach that help bridge certain things together. So I'm going to touch on that a little here, but really I'm here trying to knock down some of the things that have really caused confusion with our approach when it comes to end time prophecy. So what is the Great Tribulation? What is the Great Tribulation? Is it a time of affliction of the Israelites to come? Did it already pass, or are we currently in the Great Tribulation? That is a question. Matter of fact, I'm going to post this inside the comment section so that way you guys can participate here. And we use this as a time to give some shout outs here. All right. Let me work on my typing skills. Here we go. Is it a time of, let me put it here. Yeah, let me see here. Is the Great Tribulation a time tribulation? Let's see. Is it a time of affliction to Israel? Oh, is the Great Tribulation a time of affliction to come, or did it already pass? All right, so that's the question. All right, I'm trying to make sure I type it correctly. Is the Great Tribulation a time of affliction to come, or did it already pass? Let me add one more option here. Not sure. All right, so let's add that here. All right. All right, let's see if we can get 100 responses here. Okay, and let's get those likes up. I see we're at 93 likes. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. All right, so type 1 as well. If you vote, I encourage you guys to vote. Also, I encourage you guys to, if you believe that we are in the time where how can I put it? The Great Tribulation is to come, right? Type 1. Or if you feel like we are currently in the Great Tribulation, type 2. If you believe that the Great Tribulation is a period to come, type 1. Or if you believe that it's that we're currently in the Great Tribulation, type 2. And we'll go through some of the responses here. So let's see where we are with the chat. So far, we have 27 votes. Let's get those votes out, family. We should be able to hit 100 votes pretty quick. We should be able to do that with a flip of a switch. So right now, we see 35 votes, and right now we see 57% believe that. Well, I should have worded it. So it looks like most believe that the Great Tribulation is to come, and others believe that it already passed. Right? That's what I'm going to read. I should have worded this, and some pointed not sure. So let me just read some of the comments, and we can better make sense. I kind of messed that one up. All right, let's look here. Let's get some of the responses. All right. Born Yahuru, type 1, believing that the the Great Tribulation did already pass, right? Let's see here. James Brother Washington, believe that it already came to pass. Miss WG Daily, likewise 1. Mad Hatter 1. We have 2, in other words, believing that we are currently in the Great Tribulation. What now? It already came to pass. Miss Ashley Smith believe that we are currently in the Great Tribulation. Vernon Morris, currently in the Great Tribulation. Pastor, I believe you taught that it has passed, and I didn't want to let the cat out the bag, but yeah, we have a lesson on that, and just my belief that we're transitioning, as Christ made it clear that there's going to be a transitional period, right? Transitioning from the Great Tribulation to another time of affliction, and we'll see if we could get to that today, but we'll definitely get to it in part 2. Mother Green, currently in the Great Tribulation. Yaquaba already. Cynthia, that we are currently, currently in the Great Tribulation. LaShanta says currently in the Great Tribulation. Jerry Carroll, Sister Jerry Carroll, appreciate the love and support. Believe that we are, the Great Tribulation already passed. Let's see here. Jean Lott already passed. Deborah Cotton, that we're currently in the Great Tribulation. Yah's humble servant, that it already passed. Your daily inspiration, that we are currently in the Great Tribulation. Georgetta Pennick, appreciate holding it down in the chat. Believe that we're currently in the Great Tribulation. Vanta Kennedy, we are currently in the Great Tribulation. So it looks like we're about even on the approach here. I'll get a couple more. Renewed mind, currently in the Great Tribulation. Voucher Snake, that we already came out of the Great Tribulation. All right, really appreciate it. Come on, Born Yahoo. Israelites voted. You're right. You can vote. This is not presidential politics. This is Israel cast lots. That's in the scriptures. They voted, right? So they're not in sin for voting or participating in the poll. But appreciate you. All right. Let's see here. Oba Khan Jones, not sure. All right, so family, we're going to go ahead and get into it. Really appreciate to see my sister Carol in the building. Right, really appreciate you, sis. All right, so in a nutshell, what I've taught about the Great Tribulation, and we'll get there, right? There's three periods that Christ highlights in Matthew chapter 24. He highlights the beginning of sorrows, which that is 70 AD, and I proved that in the beginning of sorrows lesson. In this one, we're going to deal with the Great Tribulation, and I'm going to prove to you that, according to Scripture, especially when we look at the 400-year mark, we're at that transition. I believe that we're transitioning into another period, and that is the period where there's going to be Israel, Yah's people is going to be crying like never before, right? That's what Christ says. After the Great Tribulation, right? Israel's going to be what? Crying. There's going to be a cry among all the nations, right? Starting with Israel. And then we'll see signs of the return, right? We'll see signs of the return. That's the word. That's the order of Hamashiach's prophecies. But anyway, let's build this up, and we'll get to it. I have to explain a lot. There's a lot to explain, and I don't want to explain all of it. Try to explain all of it in one breath. So we're going to have to break this down, and I'll show you why. Now, look, if you disagree, guess what? It's fine that we disagree. It's okay. But guess what? One way or the other, Yah sort it all out. All right. But is it a time of affliction of the Israelites to come? Did it already pass? Or are we currently in the Great Tribulation? All right. We're going to answer this. What biblical text, end time prophecy enthusiasts use to support their understanding of the Great Tribulation? So this right here, I am speaking from my experience. This is not pointing any fingers at anyone. I was an end time prophecy geek. So what biblical text, end time prophecy enthusiasts use to support their understanding of the Great Tribulation? Right? 42 months is understood to be a very special period of time. Let me say that again. 42 months is understood to be a very special period of time. End time prophecy enthusiasts believe that that it is the time described as the Great Tribulation, when the little horn will make war against the saints for times, and a half time. So much to unpack right here, right? So end time prophecy geeks like myself, right, will go to Revelation chapter 13, says the beast will have power given to him, right? According to Revelation, right? Revelation 13, this is what it tells us, says the beast will have power given to him to continue 42 months and to make war with the saints. It is believed that this is the exact same period and occurs immediately before the second coming of Christ to establish his kingdom, right? Let's go to Revelation chapter 13, and we're going to highlight starting at verse 5. And this is what it says. This is what it reads, how it reads. And there was given unto him a month, speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. And he opened his mouth and blasphemy against Yahweh, to blaspheme his name. And we see name, we're dealing with the reputation, not just his literal name, but his reputation, the character. Blasphemy, na'at, right? Blasphemy his name and his tabernacle and them that dwell in heaven. Verse 7, and it was given unto him to make war against the saints, Quadayash, right? In other words, holy ones, and to overcome them, and power was given him over all kindreds, tongues, and nations. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the in the book of life of the Lamb, slain from the foundation of the world. Let me read that again. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them, and power was given him over all kindreds, tongues, and nations. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb, slain from the foundation of the world. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints, Quadayash. In other words, holy ones. So that's what end time geeks enthusiasts would, that's how they would approach the text. Another scripture, end time prophecy enthusiasts used to explain the Great Tribulation and the building of a temple in the end time, right? To try to justify that third temple. And we'll get to that, right? Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3 and 4. It says here, let no man deceive you, right? You guys already know this. Let no man deceive you, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that the man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. Verse 4, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called Elohim, or that is worship, so that he as Yahweh sit in the temple of Yahweh, showing himself that he is Yahweh. See, this is what end time prophecy enthusiasts or geeks like myself back in the day, this is what we would use to say, hey, this is the building of a new temple to justify the third temple. And I'm going to do a special lesson on exposing that third temple, so-called third temple prophecy, like how I exposed the red heifer, which is nothing more than what a female brown cow. We're gonna expose that, just like how we exposed the 313 laws. So we're gonna really go into that to see if that really means a third temple, like we have been taught, how we've been indoctrinated. We'll deal with that. But anyway, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called Elohim, or that is worship, so that he as Yahweh sitteth in the temple of Yahweh, showing himself that he is Yahweh. And so here's another end time prophecy, another scripture that end time prophecy enthusiasts use to explain the Great Tribulation. And again, the building of a temple in the end time, right? Matthew chapter 24, starting at verse 15. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation, and we already covered this, but this is what they will take. See, this is what happens when you take the approach like how the church takes, Catholicism take, many people take, they start piecing passages together. When actually, as I already covered, this is part of the beginning of sorrows, the sacking, the destruction of Israel, Jerusalem, starting at Jerusalem. But here, this is what many will take, this passage right here, and build around it. I did that. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken by Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand. Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. So the holy place has always been located in the temple ever since there was a temple. Before Solomon built the first temple, it was located inside the tabernacle. So Christ spoke these words when he was standing with his disciples on the Mount of Olives. Okay, so as he looked down at the temple, and I'm just, again, this is how end time prophecy enthusiasts like myself back in the day, this is how I viewed it. He spoke concerning the temple and the Temple Mount. This scripture, according again to end time enthusiasts, this refers to the time immediately before the second coming of Christ, right? Completely wrong. But anyway, this is what they were referred to. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world, to this time no nor ever shall be. So this great tribulation, according to end time enthusiasts, to which Christ is referring to, is in fact the great tribulation period spoken of in Revelation chapter 13, verse 5, Daniel chapter 7:23, and Revelation 12 and 6. This is, again, just giving you how end time enthusiasts will view the scriptures. But then we see here, immediately after the tribulation of those days, shall the sun be darkened, the moon shall not give her light, and the stars fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. Now, this, we're going to go deeper into this. Hopefully we'll get to it today. If not, we'll get to it in part 2, because remember, immediately after the tribulation of those days. So this tells us that there's like we had the eclipse, right? The solar eclipse earlier this year that occurred during Passover, during the feast days, right? So it says here, right? The sun will be dark, or the sun shall be darkened, the moon shall not give her light, and the stars fall from heaven, and the powers of heaven shall be shaken. So this gives us an idea of where we are. That's why I say we're transitioning. We transition, or we can say we transitioning from the Great Tribulation to this period here. But guess what? We have to go to verse 30 to really put this into its proper perspective. But again, right now we're just going from the angle of the eschatology from a perspective of Christianity, Catholicism, just from that genre right there. So enthusiasts teach that this is referring to the vials. That is when the sun is turned to sackcloth of hair and the moon is turned to blood. So when we go to verse 30 and 31, I'm just breaking down how they view it, right? And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. Look at this. So now it's saying we're going to see signs. Then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn. So this tells you that there's going to be a mourning period, right? We're going to go into a time of mourning. We're going to see signs, right? Are we not seeing signs? And it says, then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man. So in this mourning period, it's going to be another time of affliction, right? It's going, man, and I believe we're set up for that. Why? Because every time we call ourselves trying to trust men, the system of men, we get pie thrown in our face. Look at what's happening in the United States right now, right? So many are pushing for the Democrats, so many pushing for the Republicans, and some trying to say that they are independent. Well, family, you know that independence, right? They pull for one side or the other. You could be an independent who's connected to the Democrats. You could be a Republican who's an independent who's connected to the Republicans. So just like Bernie, what's his name? Bernie Sanders, right? He's an independent. He's a liberal, but he's connected to the Democratic Party. So they're all jumbled together. So many of our brothers and sisters, guess what? Pulling from one to the other. Guess what? We're going to learn, especially over the next year, especially when Trump comes into office, we're going to have a hard lesson we're going to learn. That lesson is we cannot trust no one. None of these people are going to bring salvation to us. Trump is not a Messiah. Kamala Harris, if she was inside the office, if she got voted in, she's not a Messiah. None of them are our Messiahs. None of these systems of men, they will not help us. We're going to get to a place where we're going to feel like we are duped around the world, and Israel just going to cry like never before. People want to throw down, going to throw down their differences, the doctrines of differences and all of that, and say, you know what? There's a bigger issue that's beyond our disagreements. There's a bigger issue that don't care about our differences. There's a bigger threat. And guess what? Just like Israel in Egypt, when the Most High said he heard the cries of his people, every time Israel went into a captivity, guess what? When Israel truly cried, that cry of Yah, we need you. Y'all know that old school song, I need you. Oh, I need you, need thee. Every hour I need thee. Man, I love that song. That's an old school song. I need thee. Lord, I need thee. Every hour I need thee. I believe when Israel get to that point, like a game that we used to play back in the day, saying I'm down, right? When you're a kid, you're playing with I used to wrestle with my Uncle Butch, who was like Diesel, right? Really Diesel. Used to play with him, wrestle with him, but right, he'll pin me down, and then I'll tell him I'm down, and then when he get up and turn his back, I jump on his back, and then we keep going through that process for probably about 30 minutes until he get tired, and he like, look, he just put all his weight on me until I can't move, to the point that I just say I'm down. I'm really down. I believe that's what the Most High is going to do with Israel. See, it's going to be ugly, family. It's going to be ugly. We're going to deal with some other stuff. I'm going to upload some videos to show how uglier, because it's already ugly. It's going to get uglier, kind of similar to Ezekiel chapter 8, when the Most High kept showing him more and more abominations. Shout out to my brother Greg inside the building. See you in the chat. So let's go to continue here. So it says here, and then shall appear the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. So we cannot put a time frame on this, family, because the Great Tribulation didn't have a time frame. The beginning of sorrows didn't have a timeline. But when it happened, right? And this Great Tribulation expanded for, kind of like for decades. It lasted for decades. It lasted for decades. Not decades, excuse me, centuries. Centuries upon centuries. But anyway, we'll get to that when we get to that shortly. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. Who's doing the gathering? Is it the Most High through his Son? As the angels sound that trumpet, are they doing the gathering, or we're supposed to be doing the gathering? Or we're supposed to be leaving the United States and become immigrants in Africa, whatever different territories, and then we just wait? Family, that doesn't say that right here. It's clear. It says here, and he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather, the angels shall gather together his elect from the four winds, one end of heaven to the other. So these three scriptures, end time enthusiasts teach that they specifically prophesy a temple that will exist in the end time. See, currently there is no temple, but there are people who have dedicated their lives to building such a temple. So these are the passages that end time prophecy enthusiasts would use to justify a third temple. So is this the correct interpretation or understanding of the prophecies revealed in the scriptures? Now, I'm going to put another question here. All right. And you guys can participate in this. Appreciate you guys. We had 128 in this poll. So let's do another one. Okay. Going to keep you guys on your poll. On your toes tonight. All right. Is this what I read to you guys? Presented to you guys tonight. Is this the correct interpret? Or understanding of the prophecies revealed in the scripture? All right. All right, here's another poll. So, again, is this the correct interpretation or understanding of the prophecies revealed in the scriptures? All right, and let's see if we could get at least 100 people participating in this poll. All right, so is this the correct interpretation or understanding of the prophecies revealed in the scriptures? All right, so far we have, we're still low in the votes. Let's see if we could get 100 votes on this. All right, let's see if we could get 100 votes on this. All right, so I'll monitor that and we'll double back to check the status of that. All right, so far we have 28 votes, but let's get it up to 100 votes. All right, should be able to do that fairly quickly. All right. So is this the correct interpretation or understanding of the prophecies revealed in the scriptures. I gave the answer, but if you disagree, it's all right. It's all right. All right. So let's go ahead and let's go ahead and break this down, because there's a lot to break down. We got some basic stuff we got to go through. Here we go. Is there any validity to believing this is accurate? No, not at all. The first discrepancy in the understanding of these passages and the associated prophecy start with understanding the word saint. Let me say this again. The first discrepancy in the understanding of these passages, excuse the typo, and the associated prophecies start with understanding the word saint. Let me say it one more time. The first discrepancy in the understanding of these passages and the associated prophecies start with understanding the word saint. Is the prophecy of Revelation 13 really about the church? About the church? Is the prophecy of Revelation 13 really about the church? See, this is why it's important for us to understand that word of confusion, saint, understanding this word church. This right here, this is a word that has been used so much to push in a replacement agenda. Is the prophecies of Revelation 13 really about the church? No. So what does it mean to be a saint? What is this word saint? Let's break it down, family. Let's go to the etymological dictionary definition of saint. It says here, right? 12th century, it says a saint, a holy relic. And then it goes on to say, give us the Latin, sanctus, holy, consecrated. We see here, Santos, Santa, right? Yeah, when you say Santa, that's still synonymous with saint, Saint Claus, Saint Nicholas. Wait a minute, Saint Nicholas, Santa Nicholas the Fifth? Anyway, consecrate, adopted into most Germanic, right? It goes on to say originally an adjective prefix to the name of a canonized person. Let me say that again. Originally, this word originally, an adjective prefix to the name of a canonized person. By 1300, it came to be regarded as a noun, meaning person of extraordinary holiness. So it's saying initially, this word, this whole creation of this word is all about a canonized person. Well, what is a canonized person? What is a canonized person? So let's give clarity here. I'm going to answer this question. I'm going to break down this word saint, and we're going to kind of kill a couple of birds with one stone. So we're going to use Revelation 17 to address a few things end time enthusiasts get wrong. So this lesson here is to identify some of the things that they have used and gotten wrong. All right. So let's go and break this down. We're going to go to Revelation 17, starting at verse 6. I need to use this. Go to this passage because this is going to help us eliminate a lot of the misunderstanding. Right here we see, and I saw the woman drunken with the blood of, as we see here, the saints, but you see a Hebrew word here, quadayash, and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. Really, it should be Yahweh Shai. You know what? Let me fix that real quick before I forget. I've been going back over my lessons. Let me fix this real quick and trying to clean it up as I go along, trying to clear these typos as well. So let's go to, if it doesn't take a lot of time, I'll just leave it alone. Let's go to my tool here. What's that? Revelation 17 and 6. Yeah, let me fix it real quick. All right. I'd like to have the actual name here. And we're going to put the name here. All right. And let me fix this slide. All right. Let's do this. All right, bear with me 1 second. Let's go to all right, we almost there. Let's see here. All right. All right, there we go. There we go. All right. All right, fixed it. There we have it. All right. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints, Quadayash, and with the blood of the martyrs of Yahushai. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. So the etymology dictionary says the word saint is the name of a canonized person. That's the original definition. That's what this word was created for. So let's deal with the deception of this word saints, right? There are steps into sainthood. That's what we're going to use this Catholic document to show the steps into sainthood according to them. So saint, for all those beatified, both martyrs and confessors, to be canonized, one miracle is required, right? So in order, according to the Catholic Church, in order to have sainthood or be declared a saint, one miracle is required and it must be proven that this event took place through the intercession of the blessed and after the date of his or her beatification. The process of canonization is very complex and thorough. A record number of saints have been canonized in the past 30 years, and about 2,000 candidates are being evaluated today. Now, this is a little old. This article is a little old. I think I used this article, started using this article probably about 8 years ago. Anyway, so let's deal with the Hebrew word for saint. Let's get the proper clarity of what it means in Hebrew. Notice what we see here. We see the word Qadish, right? This is in the Israeli pronunciation, Kaddish or Qadish, right? But in ancient Hebrew, it'll be Quadayash, right? As we see here, Holy One, Saint. And we know that this is not what they were referring to. They were not referring to a canonized person. They were not referring to someone who died and then was determined to be holy after they died. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work that way. But anyway, let's go to the primitive root word of Quadayash. Let's see what it says. We go to the primitive root word, we see Quadash, right? We see it here. A primitive root word. This is the original word. It means clean, consecrate, dedicate, keep, proclaim, purify, sanctify, sanctified one, sanctified self. That's what this word means. So the translated word saint is actually referring to Israel. Let me say that again. The transliterated word saint, right, is actually referring to the Israelites. The word church is a 4th century, began to be used in the 4th century to the Roman Catholics. They weren't using church prior to. That word church is a Celtic word. I'm not sure if I put it in here. If I didn't, I may put it in here just as a refresher, right? The translated word saint is actually referring to Israel, right? So in every verse, you see the word saint did not originally refer to Israel, right? But to the Roman Catholics. Let me say that again. Every verse that you see that word saint, right? It was not pointing to Israel. It's pointing to the Roman Catholics. This is why I don't even say saint. Come on, family. These are words of confusion. These are constructs that they created to continue to push their delusion. Every word in every verse you see the word saint did not originally refer to Israel, but to the Roman Catholics. That's where the programming is. So let's deal with the word drunk, because we're going to break down Revelation 17, right? I said I'm going to use that passage to knock down a lot of poor teachings, so that way we can move forward when we start getting into the meat and potatoes of the Great Tribulation. So let's go with drunk, right? Shakar, right? It says here, to become tipsy, to satiate with a stimulating drink, right? Or figuratively influence. We see here drink, be filled with drink, drink abundantly, drunken, right? We see drunk, be drunk, make drunk, drunken, be married. So drunk, shakar in Hebrew means to be tipsy, to be filled by influence. That's the key, to be filled by influence. So the bride of the serpent, right? Let me say that again. The bride of the serpent became drunk, shakar, and filled with influence in taking the life of the Israelites, right? So let's deal with the word bloodthirsty, because this is all going to I'm going to bring all of this together. Let's deal with bloodthirsty. It says here, blood as that which when shed causes death of man or animal, by analogy, the juice of the grape. Figuratively, especially in the plural, bloodshed. An example, drops of blood. So bloodshed, we see blood, bloody, blood guiltiness, blood thirsty, blood plus. So we see blood guiltiness plus innocent, right? So bloody, blood guiltiness, blood thirsty plus innocent. So that means that they're going to what? Be so, they're going to prey on innocent blood. So the bride of the serpent became drunk, shakar, and filled with the innocent, the influence of innocent bloodshed. We see that today, right? But our people, we've been dealing with over and over. You can look at the news. We're the only community in this country and around the world that is dealing with this different systems out there that is filled, that are drunk and filled with the influence of shedding the blood of our ancestors, of our people, rather, not just our ancestors, of us today, right? So let's go to 2 Kings chapter 11 to properly explain Revelation chapter 17. So I can prove that when we see saints, it's really referring to Israel. It's not dealing with the church. When you see the blood of the saints, is really the holy people of Yah and the martyrs, right? Let's break this down. 2 Kings chapter 11, verse 1. I'm going to use the law and the prophets, like we're doing, to break down and properly explain the scriptures. Here it is. And when Athaliah, the mother of Uzziah, saw that her son was dead, she arose and destroyed all the seed royal. Verse 2. But Jehosheba, the daughter of King Joram, sister of Uzziah, took Joash, the son of Uzziah, and stole him from among the king's son, which were slain, and they hid him, even him and his nurse, in the bedchamber from Athaliah, so that he was not slain. So when the queen, because guess what? She was the queen of Israel for like 5 or 6 years. When the queen and mother Athaliah received the report that her son Uzziah had been killed by Jehu, she immediately made her move to claim the kingdom of Israel for herself. Without hesitation, she killed all the heirs to the throne, the entire family, and assumed power. Doesn't it sound familiar? What was done to us, the crafty council, did everything they can or could to wipe us out, mess us up, make us remember or not even know who we are. So here it is. She's a queen of Israel. She is literally the queen of Israel. Without hesitation, killed all the heirs to the throne, the entire royal family, and assumed power. So Queen Athaliah murdered her own grandchildren, right? Filled with shakar, filled with a spirit of worldly ambition, Athaliah hungered for the power to rule. In a murderous rampage, she eliminated all competitors, the royal seed. So Athaliah was drunken by the blood of the saints. That's incorrect. The Israelites. You see, family, we have the illustrations here. I just proved that when you see Revelation 17, it's referring to the Israelites. It's not dealing with a generic construct, the church that's created by the very people that is drunk on our blood. Does that make sense, family? We're sitting up here. We've been duped. We've been hoodwinked to whenever we interpreting prophecy, we start with having the perpetrators on the same side, the good side of the judgment. Like it's all about the church. I'm saying it like that guy Dawson's TV. That's how you say church. But anyway, let me say this again. Let me go back over here. Right? Athaliah, right? Athaliah was drunken by the blood of the saints and the Israelites, the royal blood, right? So Athaliah is drunk from the blood of the seed royal, but she is still simply a daughter. She's not the source of this hatred. She's a daughter. Does that make sense, everyone? The woman, the harlot system, right, is drunk with the blood of the saints. No, I got to correct that. I keep leaving the saints there. Let me correct it while I'm here. I might as well correct it while I'm here. Oops. Royal seed. The Israelites. All right, there we go. I want to correct it while I'm here. All right. Let's save this. I want to make sure I corrected my PowerPoint. So the woman, the harlot, right? The woman, the harlot system, right? Because it's a system. The harlot is a system. Is drunk with the blood of the royal seed, the Israelites, representing the historical and ongoing persecution of Israel, particularly those faithful to the covenant. The martyrs of Yahushua refers to those who follow him, starting with his disciples, who are Israelites. They gave their lives testifying to the truth of the covenant's restoration through Yahushua. So by grounding our understanding in the covenant, it becomes clear that the saints and martyrs in Revelation are not general groups, but specifically Israelites and their faithful followers of Yahweh and Yahushua. Let me say that again. I hope you guys grab hold of this. By grounding our understanding in the covenant, it becomes clear that the saints, the so-called saints, and the martyrs that we see in the scriptures, guess what? Those are not generic groups, right? In Revelation are not general or generic groups, but specifically Israelites and our faithful followers, their faithful followers of Yahweh and Yahushua, right? So what is the proper understanding of the Lamb Book of Life? So we just knocked down the word saint. Now we're going to have to break down the Lamb Book of Life, right? The Book of the Lamb. Let me check here to see if we how the voting is looking here. All right, we're going to close this poll out. Going to close this poll out. And family, want to encourage you guys, if you are subscribed to the channel, double check to make sure you are still subscribed to the channel, because YouTube has been unsubscribing people. So I encourage you guys, check to make sure you are still subscribed. And also, if you are not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to it, right? And click that like button. Doesn't cost you anything. All right. So what is the purpose, or should I say, what is the proper understanding about the Lamb Book of Life? What is the proper understanding? I'm going to mess up some you guys' theology right now. I'm going to mess up your theology right now. If you guys are ready for me to mess up your theology right now, or what you've been taught in the church to suppress you, to suppress us, type in listen with intelligence. If you guys ready for me to break this down, type listen with intelligence. I'm going to show you that we've been lied to. We already know why, but we're going to show you. That's right, my brother Greg. The church be low-key blaspheming with their doctrines. Absolutely. It's all lies. So just type in listen with intelligence. If you guys ready for me to drop a bombshell, mess up your theologies right now, type in listen with intelligence. Because I'm about to drop a bombshell. I am about to drop a bombshell. Let's give some shout outs in the process. All right, let's start with the top. All right. Let's start at the top. Start with shout outs to Mother Green Earth. Listen with intelligence. Pure Repentance. Shout outs to you. Listen with intelligence. Ranaya. Listen with intelligence. Hadassah Ben Yah. Listen with intelligence. Let's see here. What now? Listen with intelligence. Born Yahuru, listen with intelligence. Haya, Yashara'al, listen with intelligence. Lashanta, listen with intelligence. Tangiya, listen with intelligence. Shout outs to you. Paul Hickman, listen with intelligence. Let's see here. TR, listen with intelligence. Miss Jones saying, tear it up, Pastor. Pastor K. Shemai, hallelujah. Listen with intelligence. Let's see here. K. Bakari, listen with intelligence. Vernon Morris, listen with intelligence. Fred Davis, listen with intelligence. Shout outs to you. Paris Benya D, bust my brain box, Pastor Kelly. Appreciate it. Listen with intelligence, right? Greg Lott, listen with intelligence. Shout outs to you. Voucher Snake, listen with intelligence. Ema Horton, listen with intelligence. Let's see here. Yo N, listen with intelligence. Miss Jones, listen with intelligence. Right? Renewed Mind, listen with intelligence. We'll get a few more in here. Shout outs to Aaron Gibb, listen with intelligence. Muhammad Yakuba, Israel, listen with intelligence. Reginald Williams, listen with intelligence. Excuse me for butchering your name. Old School says, charge it to my head, not to my heart. La Rena, listen with intelligence. Let's see who else we have here. Chastity Fawcett, listen with intelligence. G. Lynn, 75, listen with intelligence. Obakan Jones, listen with intelligence. We get a few more here. Your daily inspiration, listen with intelligence. Let's see here. RCLM, listen with intelligence. Reclaim, I believe that's what it stands for. Listen with intelligence. My sister Carol in the building. Stay on task. We are all listening with intelligence. Hallelujah. One last one. Lorena got 5 bombs here, so I guess she's ready for me to drop the bomb. Let's drop the bomb here, family. Let's go ahead and get into it. I can't get to all. Let me see one more here. Let me get one more in. Shakar Anawa Ya, listen with intelligence. All right, let's get it in. Let's get it in. Let's go ahead and break this down. That's why I said it's a lot that you have to unpack before we can get really into the Great Tribulation. What is the proper understanding about the book of the Lamb? What's the proper understanding? Let's go to Revelation chapter 13, verse 5. We're going to highlight 5 through 10. And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemy or blasphemies. And power was given unto him to continue 42 months. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against Yahweh, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them that dwell in heaven. Verse 5, and it was given unto him to make war with Israel, the holy ones. That's what this is. Remember, the royal seed, Israel. We all are what? A royal priesthood. That's what Israel is referred to, a royal priesthood. So it was given unto him to make war with the royal priesthood, the Israelites, and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds, tongues, and nations. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the lamb slain from the foundation of the world. Let me read verse 8 again. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. Verse 9, if any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of who? The royal seed, the royal priesthood, the Israelites. Come on, let's break this down. So whose names are not written in the book of the Lamb? Let's break this down. See, the misconception and misunderstanding about the Lamb's book of life is that an Israelite strives to have his or her name written in the book. Let me say that again. That's how you guys were taught, right? We were taught in Christianity that we all strive to get our name written into the Lamb book of life. Guess what, family? That is absolutely incorrect, especially being an Israelite. Let me say it one more time. We were taught in the church, I'm trying to say it like that Dawson guy, in the church, we were taught that we have to what? Strive to have our name written in the book. Guess what, family? That's not true. That's not true. Shout outs to Asad Ben Judah from the UK. Shout out in the house. Let me give you a special shout out. I just saw you pop in all the way from the UK. Really appreciate you. All right, let me pop that up. There we go. Shout outs to you. Appreciate you. Let me show you, family, that this misconception and misunderstanding about the Lamb's book of life is that the Israelites, again, that the Israelites, right? That the Israelites strives to have his or her name written in the book. Let me prove the lie. Let's knock down that lie. That's why I said I have to take time to really knock down so many lies. The actual goal for each Israelite, right, at birth, right, name is recorded in the Lamb's book of life, right? Our goal as Israelites, as an Israelite, is to keep our names in the Lamb's book of life and not having it blotted out due to sin. Let me say that again. The actual goal, right, for each Israelite at birth, right, our names are recorded in the Lamb's book of life. Our actual goal is, as an Israelite, is to keep our names in the Lamb's book of life and not having it blotted out due to sin. Let me say that one more time. I hope you guys grab hold of that. I'm just going to say it again. You, all of us, Israel, you are born with your name in the book of life, the Lamb's book of life. That is the lie that the church, that is the lie Catholicism, that is the lie Judaism, that is the lie all these so-called Abrahamic religions, these crafty councils have caused so many of our brothers and sisters to actually lose it because they trying to do something, they trying to work hard for something that they already have. Our names are already in it, but we have to what? Make sure our names stay in it. Does that make sense, family? Come on now, that you guys should be celebrating right there. You guys should have ran away from your computer. You guys should have threw your mouse down. You should have ran. You should have gave the Most High a shout of praise, understanding that your goal is not to have your name written in it. It's to keep your name written in it. That's the goal, that you don't fall away. You did run well, but who hindered you? Come on, family. That's the lie. Now, I got to back this up, right? I can't just say something and not give you actual scripture that substantiate what I just pointed out. Let me point it out. Let's deal with the Hebrew definition of blotted out, because most of us really don't understand what it means to be blotted out. So let's see what it says here. We see makah, right? What we see here, it says to stroke, erase, abolish, blot out, destroy, wipe. In other words, wipe away, wipe out. So remember, blot out means to erase. It means to what? Abolish. It means to destroy and what? Wipe away. Are there any examples of someone's name being blotted out? Yes. Let me prove it. Joshua chapter 7, starting at verse 20. Here's an example of someone having their name blotted out. Not just their name, but their entire family. His seeds, all of them were blotted out. When I saw among the spoils of goodly Babylonian garments. See here, Achan, he decided to steal and take something that he should not have taken. He's wearing Babylonian garments, 200 shekels of silver, and a wedge of gold of 50 shekels weight. Then I coveted them and took them, and behold, they are hid in the earth in the midst of my tent, and the silver under it. So Joshua sent messengers, and they ran into the tents, and behold, it was hid in his tent, and the silver under it. Verse 23. And they took them out of the midst of their tent, of the tent, and brought them unto Joshua and all the children of Israel, and laid them out before Yahweh. Verse 24. And Joshua and all of Israel with him took Achan, the son of Zerah, and the silver, the garment, and the wedge of gold, his sons, his daughters, and his oxen, and his donkeys, and his sheep, his tent, and all that he had, and they brought them unto the valley of Achor. Verse 25. And Joshua said, why hast thou troubled us? Yahweh shall trouble thee this day. And all of Israel stoned him with stones. Look at this, family. All of Israel stoned him with stones and burned them with fire. After they had stoned them with stones. Wow, look at this. I'm going to read that again. All Israel stoned him with stones and burnt him with fire after they had stoned them with stones. Wow. Verse 26. And they raised over him a great heap of stones unto this day. So Yahweh, right, turned from the fierceness of his anger, wherefore the name of that place was called the Valley of Achor to this day. So Achan's punishment serves as a warning that disobedience to the covenant could result in being cut off entirely. In other words, blotted out. So what other passages, right? What passages supports the notion or argument that we as Israelites are born with our names in the Lamb's Book of Life? Well, let me give you some additional passages. Exodus chapter 32, starting at verse 31. And Moses returned unto Yahweh and said, oh, this people have sinned a great sin and have made them gods of gold. Yet now, if thou wilt forgive their sins, and if not, look at what it says, blot me, Makah, I pray thee, out of the book which thou hast written. Come on now. So this tells you, for example, because this is Moses trying to intercede for the people. Moses' name is written in that book. The Most High is saying, hey, Moses is saying, hey, Yah, don't blot these people out. Don't destroy them. Blot me out before you do them. Take my name out of the book. Come on, family. Come on, family. And I want to correct this. There's no missing books in the Bible. Let's make sure we're clear on that. They're not missing. If you have access to it, you have access to it. But not every book is a missing book. Not every book is a book that is from the Most High that's written. It's a lot of pseudo stuff here. So I just want to give a little correction there. All right. But nevertheless, Moses, again, let me read Moses' word. Yet now, if thou wilt forgive their sins, he's interceding for Israel. And if not, blot me out. I pray thee out of who? Out of what? Out of thy book which thou hast written. Verse 33. And Yahweh said unto Moses, whosoever hath sinned against me, him will I blot out of my book. Guess what? The Most High said, Moses, nice try. But guess what? There's some of those people going to be blotted out. Whosoever has sinned against me, him will I blot out. So he was saying he's not going to blot out all of Israel, only those that participated in that goat, building that image, that goat demon, and having carnival. So he reassured Moses he's not going to wipe out all of Israel. He's only going to blot out. He's only going to look at here. Whosoever have sinned against me, him will I blot out of my book. What book is that? Come on, family. All right, but I'm not going to stop. Right? To be blotted out was not merely a loss of life, but a severing from the covenant community and the blessings promised to Israel. You know, when you die, guess what? You blotted out. You're not. That's it, right? That's what Moses is pleading his case for. So the book of life represents the divine registry of covenant-bound Israelites, including the grafted in tribes of Ephraim and Manasseh. That's right. That's the grafted in. That's not the church. That's not the other nations. The proper clarity of Acts chapter 11 connects right to Genesis chapter 48, verse 19, and you will see that it's dealing with Ephraim and Manasseh. That has nothing to do with dealing with non-blood descendants of non-Israelites, blood-related Israelites. This is not dealing with converts. This is dealing with Israel. So the book of life represents the divine registry of covenant-bound Israelites, including the grafted in tribes of Ephraim and Manasseh. Remember, they were grafted in. How? Because Simeon, the oldest, Reuben got into trouble. The oldest got into trouble, did some inappropriate things with Jacob's wife. And guess what? He could not have, his name got removed. The people weren't blotted out, but guess what? He could not have the firstborn blessings. So that blessing was handed down to who? Ephraim and Manasseh. They went from being the grandsons to getting elevated to having what? A seat at the table among the other tribes. That's the scripture, family. But anyway, so their inclusion highlights the reconciliation and restoration of the olive tree, in other words, Israel, through Yahweh's covenant. Names are recorded at birth for Israelites, but must remain through faithfulness to what? The law, statutes, and commandments. That's the key. You can't say that your name is in the Lamb Book of Life and you are lawless. And that's what the church, the religions of man is teaching us to be what? Lawless. Guess what, family? That's why it says the very elect. The very elect said we're going to barely make it as a people. Why? Because so many names are being removed from the Lamb Book of Life. So foreigners may be spiritually included, but do not redefine the covenantal foundation of the book of life as primarily an Israelite record. That's what it is. End time prophecy enthusiasts, right? They use 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3 and 4. This is just giving clarity. Matthew 24, verse 30 and 31 to explain the Great Tribulation and the building of a temple in the end time. All right, just wanted to reiterate that point. So how does the words of Yahushua challenge and oppose the eschatological interpretations of the Catholic Christian Church? So we just knocked down a lot, family. Believe it or not, we knocked down a lot. I'll go a little bit longer, right? The connection between Daniel 9, verse 24 and 27. Let me say this again. The connection between Daniel chapter 9, verse 24 through 27, and Yahushua's prophecy in Matthew's 24, verse 15, challenges common interpretations in Christian and Catholic eschatology. These traditions of men emphasize futuristic and allegorical interpretations, such as the rebuilding of a third temple or applying these events to a far off end time scenario. See, that's why you keep seeing, even today, people are actually saying, or so-called prophets and prophetess are believing that the time of sorrow is getting ready to happen, or the Great Tribulation is about to happen. Well, what was the Transatlantic World War? What was the Arabic slave trade or war? What is the Indian Ocean slave trade, which actually was a war? What are those things? And you're talking 100 million people of our people over time. So these traditions of men often emphasize future and allegorical interpretations, such as the rebuilding of a third temple or applying these events to a far off end time scenario. However, understanding Yahushua's prophecy as directly addressing the destruction of the second temple during the disciples' lifetime highlights the immediate and historical fulfillment of these prophecies. So Yahushua's approach and exposes misinterpretations that detach the prophecy from its original Israelite context, shifting the focus away from the historical affliction of the Israelites and our covenantal relationship with Yahweh. So it brings clarity to the scriptural narrative and restores its meaning or its intended meaning. And that's what we're doing right now. We are restoring the intended meaning, the actual words of the actual meaning of the prophecies according to Hamashiach. So are they partially correct? No, they're completely wrong. So what is the proper context of 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3 and 4? I'm going to touch on it a little bit, and then we're going to wrap it up because I know it's not getting late. It is late, right? Let's start with 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3 and 4. Let's go here, all right? Let no man deceive you by what? Any means, for that day shall not come except coming a fall away. Let me read that again. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away. Let me read it one more time. Except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. One more time. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. Verse 4, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called Elohim, or that is worshipped, so that he as Yahweh sitteth in the temple of Yah, showing himself that he is Yah. So it's so much to unpack here, but some of you guys are familiar with some of the things I'm going to go over, but I'm going to touch on it in a different angle when I get to certain points. So who is the son of perdition? Is the son of perdition Judas? Right? He is a son of perdition, but he's not the son of perdition that Apostle Paul talks about. So when we go to John chapter 17, starting at verse 11, look at here. And now I am no more in the world, but these are in the world. And I come to thee, Holy Father, keep through thy own name those those whom thou hast given me, that they may be one as we are. While I was with them in the world, I kept them in thy name. Those that thou gavest me, I have kept, and none of them is lost, but the son of perdition, that the scripture might be fulfilled. So we see that Judas is referred to as the son of perdition. And when we look at the Greek definition of perdition, it says ruin or loss, damnable, in other words, nation. It could be a person, destruction, pernicious ways, wasted, utter destruction. So, but the son of perdition, that the scriptures might be fulfilled. That's what Christ pointed out. Fulfill what scripture, right? So John 13:18. Let's go here real quick. I speak not of you all. I know whom I have chosen, but the scriptures may be fulfilled. He that eateth bread with me hath lifted up his heel against me. So what scripture is Christ quoting? He's quoting from the 41st book of Psalms, starting at verse 9. This is what he's referring to. Yea, my own familiar friend, in whom I trusted, which did eat of my bread, have lifted up his heel against me. So is Paul prophesying in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3? Is his prophecy, right, in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and 3, referring to Judas? Guess what? Paul is not prophesying Judas, because Judas is already dead, right? Paul is dealing with a different son of perdition. So what's the difference between Judas, the son of perdition, and the son of perdition of Paul's prophecy? What's the difference between the two? Right? Judas, guess what? He came from within. But Paul's prophecy is referring to well, let me break it down. I'll just break it down right now. We're going to identify the son of perdition real quick. Let's go to Genesis chapter 9, verse 27. Elohim shall enlarge Japheth, and he shall dwell in the tents of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. What is the proper context of this prophecy? What is the meaning of enlarge? Patha, right? It says here to open. An example B. It says B. It goes on to say, but the key is we're going to deal with in a sinister way. Look at what it says here. In a sinister way, delude, allure, deceive, enlarge, entice, flatter, persuade, silly one. So this is not a compliment. This is not the Most High giving, blessing Japheth. That's the point I want to make sure you guys understand, because there's teachings out there that matter of fact, this is how our people were convinced that it's okay by them to do what they do. This is the passages that they will pull out as they enslaved our ancestors or reprogramming them. See, connecting the historical roles of Japheth's descendants to these spiritual dynamics emphasizes how this enlargement through power and influence often occurs at the expense of Shem's descendants, manifesting in various forms of persecution, oppression, and spiritual subjugation. This prophecy connects with the prophecy of the son of perdition, right? Let's go back here. So what I read in Genesis chapter 9 connects right to 2 Thessalonians. Again, except there come a falling away first, right? Not Paul. This is where you get that word Nephilim, the primitive root word, ancient Hebrew is not Paul, which means what? Fall away. It means also means tyrant, not just giants. But anyway, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and the man of sin is revealed, the son of perdition. And again, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is Elohim, or that is worship, so that he as Yahweh sitteth in the temple of Yahweh, showing himself that he is Yahweh. See, one of the key attributes of the son of perdition is the desire to be worshiped as a savior and oppose and exalt himself above all that is called Elohim or Yahweh. Let me change that. I don't like the word God. Let me change that real quick before I forget. All right. All right. Looking at the time here. Okay. We'll go a little bit longer. Because we covered a lot. We covered a lot, family. But we got a lot. We got a long way to go to really wrap this up. Let me see here. You know what? I'll leave it in there because it's going to serve a point as I get there. All right, I'll leave it there. So one of the key attributes of the son of perdition is the desire to be worshipped as a savior and oppose and exalt himself above all that is called God or Elohim, Yahweh. The Freemasons, God. Some of you guys probably remember this. Let's see what God means in Freemasonry, right? Let me see here. I think I'm upgrading my office here. So I think I have, where are those books? Bear with me 1 second. Let me mute myself out. All right, let me just do this real quick. So that's these books right here that you see. All right, that's these books right here. All right, so I got I threw out a ton of my books. I just kept a couple of them like these as a reference point to continue to expose, to expose that whole organization. So that's what this is coming from. All right. And what you see are actually screenshots from this book. All right. So let's break this down. God, the initials of Gomer, Oz, Debar. It is a singular coincidence and worthy of thought that the letters composing the English name of deity should be the initials of the Hebrew word wisdom, strength, and beauty. The three great pillars or metaphorical supports of Masonry. They seem to present almost the only reason that an reconciled a Mason to the use of the initial G. In its conspicuous suspension in the east of the lodge, in the place of the delta, these incidents seem to be more than an accident. In other words, it's deliberate. Those acronyms, Gomer, right? It starts with the bar, but let's start from the bottom up. Gomer, right? We see here Gomer, and this is Gomar, right? Oz, right? Debar. So that acronym God actually is the worship of Gomer, right? That's the worship of Gomer. Freemasonry is teaching the worship of Gomer, teaching the worship of who? Caucasians, right? So the only reason that can reconcile a Mason to use the use of the initial G is to promote the worship of Gomer. That's the attribute of this the son of perdition, because it wants to be worshipped. Let me show you here. This is an example of how Gomer wants to be worshipped, right? But that's an attribute again of the beast, right? Of the son of perdition, rather. Where is it? I think I have it. Got so many animations. I've been reorganizing them and re-recording them. Let's see here. Here we go.
And you know what else, Jim? I just want to say this to our Christian friends, you know, just to call it as it is and say it straight out, you know, you guys are worshiping one Jew. That's a mistake. You should be worshiping every single one of us because we all die for your sins every single day. And that's exactly what's going on here.
Yeah.
We're all God's firstborn, and we're dying for your sins right now because the Jewish people in the land of Israel are the bulwark against the orcs. Okay? The orcs are coming not to a theater near you, but to your home.
I just had to give some combinations off of what you just heard. It's been a while since I pulled that out, but I had to pull it out. I had to pull it out, family. And don't tell me I accidentally removed my garbage can, because I was about to give it the garbage can. Actually, here it is. Let's give him the garbage can too. Matter of fact, I gotta pull a couple more out. I gotta give the chair too. It's been a while since I pulled the chair out, but I have to give it the chair. Where's my chair at? Where's my chair? I have to give it the chair. It's somewhere here. All right, let's give it the chair. Where is it? Where is it? Family, that is connecting to the prophecies, right? When you understand slavery, it was all about edifying the Caucasian man. Many of you guys may not know that the Caucasian woman during those times had to worship, had to honor their husbands as if he was a deity. It was legal for them to beat them up until what? The turn of the 20th century? Legally. It's all about the Caucasian man as we see today. So this is to promote the worship of Gomer, family. Freemasonry promotes the worship of Gomer. Why is this important to know? Genesis chapter 10, verse 2. Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, Japheth, and unto them were sons born after the flood. The sons of Japheth, we see Gomer. Look at what we see it here. Gomer is a son of Japheth. The sons of Japheth, Gomer, Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshach, Tyrus. And let's go to the Hebrew definition of the word Gomer. We just see here name of Gomer, the name of the son of Japheth and of his descendants. All right. Right. And we have a Hebrew female that had a name of Gomer. Right. But nevertheless, but we see the Gomer that we're focusing on is the son of Japheth. All right. Let's fast forward. Why is this important to know? Why is this important to know? The sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, right? Y'all know who Ashkenaz is. You also have Riphath and Togarmah. And the sons of Javan. These are some names, family. Elisha, Tarshish, Kittim, Dodanim, right? So let's break this down. I'm not gonna break all of them down tonight. We got a few more minutes. Gomer is the father of Ashkenaz. Let me say that again. Gomer is the son of father of Ashkenaz. I want to give shout outs to the elder in the building. Family, let's show some love for the elder here that is in the building. Thank you for the love and support. That's what YouTube is doing, making sure the notifications don't get out, but it's all good. Really appreciate you, elder. We got to connect so that way we can work on getting you out here for Passover. Really appreciate you. Thank you for the love and support, family. Let's honor our elder tonight. Really appreciate all that you do. The love and support again. Really appreciate you. Thank you again. So 90% of the Jewish community as we know them are descendants of Ashkenaz. The religion and fraternity and the religion of fraternity and sorority promotes the worship of Gomer. Is Ashkenaz the son of perdition, though? Nope. Ashkenaz is connected, but Ashkenaz is not the son of perdition. The son of perdition is Japheth family. I'll say it again. Gomer is connected to the son of perdition, but actually the son of perdition is Japheth and his descendants. I'm going to prove it here. Going back to Genesis chapter 9, verse 27, Elohim shall enlarge Japheth, and he shall dwell in the tents of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. Right? That's it. It's right here. Let me show it again. Elohim shall enlarge in Japheth, and he shall dwell in the tents of Shem. Canaan shall be his servant. Right? So again, this is the Most High allowing, right? Just like what he does to Israel, whenever Israel get out of line, he allow other nations to chastise us by placing us in captivity. Right? Remember Ham, or should I say the Egyptians, they went into captivity for a moment. Right? So Gomer is simply a son of the son of perdition, Japheth. So that's who the son of perdition is, his descendants. Right? Japheth descendants, but Japheth is the son of Gomer. Ashkenaz is simply a grandson of the son of perdition, Japheth. The son of perdition is the progenitor of a key son outside of Ashkenaz, whose people and religious systems continue to enslave the chosen people of today. And I just want to highlight this real quick before we touch on this here, right? Ashkenaz, Germany, right? These are some of the descendants of Gomer, but ultimately Japheth, the son of perdition, Meshach, Mashkal, Togarmah. We see Armenians, Germany, right? Because you have multiple tribes, or should I say groups within Germany. You have the Scythians, right? You also have the Anglos, and you also have the Saxons. All right, those are some major groups there. But notice you see Togarmah, Turkey. Make a note of that. Madai, Medes, in other words, Persians, and peoples of India. And of course, we have Gomer, people living in the area of the Black Sea, Germany, and Wales. So who is this son? Who is this son? Who is this son? Right? Let's deal with Javan. Right? Let's deal with Javan. Because these are some of the sons of grandsons of going back here, right? Well, the sons of Japheth. Let's deal with Javan. This is the sons of Japheth, right? Let's deal with Javan real quick. Who is Javan? I'm not dealing with all of them. This man would be here for another 3 hours. But look at here. Look at Javan or Yavan or Yawan. Actually, Yawan is the ancient pronunciation. Yawan, the name of a son of Joktan and the race of Ionians, and example Greeks, descended from him with their territories also of a place in Arabia. See this? Let's deal with this particular son. Eastern Bible Dictionary of the Hebrew definition of Javan. Look at this. Whose descendants settled in Greece. An example, Ionia, which bears the name of Javan in Hebrew. Alexander the Great is called the king of Javan. This word was universally used by the nations of the East as the generic name of the Greek race. Then we also see here, it says a town or district in Arabia Felix, from which the Syrians obtained iron, cassia, and calamus. All right, but anyway, so we see the Greeks here. Now let's go to a key prophecy in Joel chapter 3, verse 6. The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold into who? Yawan, the Grecians, that ye might remove them far from their border. Who is Kittim? Right? These are still dealing with Japheth, right? Who is Kittim? Numbers chapter 24, verse 23. And he took up his parable and said, Alas, who shall live with Alas, who shall live when Elohim doeth this? And ships shall come from the coast of Chittim, and shall afflict Ashur, and shall afflict Eber or Ibar. This is still dealing with Hebrews. And he also shall perish forever. Who is Kittim? Look at this. Going back to Genesis 10, 3 and 4. So look at this. We see here, we dealt with Javan, but Kittim is one of the sons of Gomer. So these are still all ultimately under Japheth. And so far we said Togarmah or Togarmah, that's the Turks. That's the Turks. The modern day Arabs of today. The modern day Arabs, Togarmah, right here under Gomer, the sons of Javan. Now we dealt with the Greeks. Well, who is Kittim? Who is Kittim? Look at this. Denoting Cyprus, goes on to say an islander in general, an example, the Greeks or the Romans. So these are the same people, Greeks or the Romans. Eastern Bible Dictionary of Kittim, the name of a branch of descendants of Javan, the son of Japheth. Balaam foretold that ships shall come from the coast of Chittim and afflict Eber. Daniel prophesies in Daniel 11:30 that the ships of Chittim will come against the king of the north. It probably denotes Cyprus, whose ancient capital was called Kidion by the Greeks. All right, so these sons of Japheth and their nations are guilty of what? Capturing and selling Judah as slaves. That's the point that I want to make sure we hone in on. No other community had gone through what we had gone through. Come on, family. Connecting the dots here, proving that Japheth is the son of perdition. Japheth is the son. So when we see like Santa Claus and all those different things, that's just the face. Japheth is the son of perdition. And look at all his seeds. Look at what his seeds have done to Israel. Look at what they're doing right now. The prophecy says that they are going to sexually exploit Judah to the point that Yahweh promised to claim our blood to preserve the remnant. Let me say that again. The prophecy says that they are going to sexually exploit Judah. See, whenever you see countries taking over countries, guess what? You see or hear the term rape, because that's them literally forcing themselves over that nation to try to what? Wipe out the nation, to blot that nation out by spoiling or contaminating the seas. They'll take the women and then they'll do what? Enslave the men or sell the men to other countries. Look at what happened to our community. That's the one thing that they don't talk about a lot, is the sexual exploitation of our ancestors. They'll talk about the women. They don't talk about the children. They don't talk about the men. Men were being raped, forced into homosexuality during slavery. Look at what's happening right now. So let's go to Joel chapter 9, verse 19. We're still in Joel chapter 3. Look at what it says about Israel. This Israel, not that Israeli stuff, not the name stealer stuff. Egypt shall be a desolation, and Edom shall be a desolate wilderness for the violence against the children of Judah, because they have shed innocent blood in their land. Verse 19, but Judah shall dwell forever, and Jerusalem from generation to generation, for I will cleanse their blood that I have not cleansed, for Yahweh dwelleth in Zion. So this is telling us that no matter what, we've been raped by every country pretty much in this world. And the Most High is saying that, guess what? He's going to make sure that we are not blotted out. He's going to make sure, he's going to cleanse our blood so that way the remnant will always stay intact. Come on, family. You think it's just a happenstance that we're finding out we're the people of the book at every DNA test that they created to try to justify the name stealers want to justify themselves, guess what? It's actually justifying who we are. It's confirming that, hey, we are the people of the book. Come on, family. Come on, family. How in the world, here it is, descendants of slaves in this country, but raped by every community, still DNA showing the way that it's showing that we are the people of the book. I've taken multiple DNA tests and it's saying that I am connected to the ancient Israelites, no matter how they try to twist it and bend things up. Come on, family. That's why they're trying to get us to forfeit our identity by embracing being converted over to Judaism, being converted to something that's not even ancient.
You know what you are? You're an ancient Israelite.
Ancient Israel, that's who we are. That's who we are. So if you give me time, if you give me time, all that he said.
No, we don't have.
There are so many years.
I know. Look at this. This is pages and pages of
Yes.
notes. And I promise we'll give more teaching. But here is my challenge to you.
All right.
I'm hearing some of your traditions. It's like the days of the Bible.
Yes.
Do you want to remain ancient Israelites or you want to be Jews? Do you want to remain ancient Israelites or you want to be Jews? Do you want to...
I'm about to show you something extremely controversial. It's even illegal in the state of Israel. Ladies and gentlemen, my DNA. Now, I bet you thought it was going to be a lot crazier than that.
This TikTok caused a storm online, with many debating what his results, which show no trace of being from Palestine or the Middle East, despite being Jewish, mean.
Assalamu alaikum. In the 13th tribe, Arthur Koestler traces the origin of Eastern Europe's Jewish population that was largely decimated by the Nazi onslaught during the Second World War. Through extensive research, he discusses the history of a trading empire that was set up by a tribe known as the Khazars. The Khazar Empire was located between the expanding power blocks of Christianity and Islam, and the people were converted to Judaism by their king as a way of standing apart from both. The Khazarians and their wealth were dispersed through the countries of Eastern Europe after the collapse of the Khazar Empire. The Khazarians were not a Semitic people, that they called themselves Jews after their conversion to Judaism is as absurd as the Chinese Muslims calling themselves Arabs. Is as absurd as the Chinese Muslims calling themselves Arabs. Is as absurd as the Chinese Muslims calling themselves Arabs.
But Judah shall dwell forever in Jerusalem from generation to generation. For I will cleanse their blood that I have not cleansed, for Yahweh dwelleth in Zion. So some of you guys that may be discouraged, you may find out that you have Caucasians and other communities inside your lineage. Guess what? The Most High already know this. This is going to happen when you deal with countries raping and kidnapping and murdering and rapturing another people. That's going to happen. That's why this prophecy is in place. The Most High has a solution. He's going to give us a blood transfusion. Because guess what? None of us are 100%. None of us. Mine says 94%, almost 95%. But guess what? None of us are 100%. None of us. Anyway, we've identified the son of perdition and his offsprings, but how does this connect with the prophecies of Daniel? How does this connect? Right? How does this connect with Daniel chapter 7, verse 23? And guess what, family? I'm going to use this as an opportunity to pause right here because this is getting into a whole nother lesson. We'll say this for part 2. Right, episode 2, because there's a lot to break down on this, and man, we still have a ways to go. If we try to go here, this will literally add at least another 50 to 100 slides. We'll be here for a while, right? This presentation right now is at almost 700 slides, and we have 457, right? And I still got to add to it. So I'll be adding to it. So we're going to stop right here. And I know that we've been going for a while, so we're going to stop right here. And I know that it's going to take you guys some time to go back over and unpack what I've taught tonight. I know it's a lot of information, and this is what happens when, a geek like myself get the opportunity to speak, right? And I appreciate you guys for listening. So go back over, send me, if you have any questions, shoot me an email. I know this is a lot to unpack, but we had to use this as an opportunity to kind of tear down some of the poor teachings, doctrines, the theologies that we were subjected to. But I hope and pray that this lesson blessed you. So even though the video ends, still post a comment inside the comment section. That helps the reachability of the channel, because that all plays a part. So I encourage you guys, go over to the comment section after you finish watching the video, share the video, but go to the comment section, post comments there, be respectful, because there's always some that try to get into those chats and try to disrupt it, but be respectful. But I really appreciate it. Again, the love and support tonight. Thank you guys for showing up. Apologies for being a little late, but we're getting there. So we'll schedule some lives. I got a video that I'm trying to put together. Hopefully I can drop it tomorrow, trying to keep the traffic going on the channel, because this is where, normally I grow. We did grow tremendously over this year, but YouTube has been doing a lot to literally minimize the growth of the channel over the past month or two, really 3 months. I want to say since around August, they literally squeezed that knob and really put the tight grips on the growth of this channel. But anyway, with that being said, family, in the words of Yahweh that he gave to Moses to reassure Israel in Exodus chapter 14, verse 13 and 14, fear ye not, stand still, see the salvation of Yahweh. These Egyptians that you see here today will never have power over us again. The Most High will fight for us. But here's the kicker, family. We have to hold our peace. Can't go back. Can't stay here. Keep moving forward. Shalom.
Listen, Genesis chapter 11, verse 10 explains the genealogy of Shem. Shem was a black man in Africa. If you repeat this back, Genesis 14, verse 13, Abraham steps on the scene. Being a descendant of Shem, which is a fact, means Abraham too was black. Abraham, born in the city of a black man, called Nimrod, grandson of Ham. Ham had 4 sons. One was named Canaan. Here, let me do some explaining. Abraham, Isaac was Jacob had 12 sons, for real, and these were the children of Israel. According to Genesis chapter 10, these were the children of Israel. According to Genesis chapter 10,
Somebody better call the doctor!